You will agree that most organizations reward performance. These rewards are in the form of bonuses or incentives, and some people also get promoted. Most organizations take their best individual contributors and make them managers, and they expect that they will perform as great as they did earlier as an individual contributor. Of course, they have proven their mettle, haven't they? But it is just like expecting an Olympic swimmer, gold medalist, to perform best as a football team's captain. Most organizations don't realize that individual contributors' skill sets are different, and to succeed as a manager, you need a different skill set. When organizations don't realize this, they set their managers to fail, as the challenges that the managers face are very different from what they faced earlier as individual contributors. Let's look at some of the top challenges that managers face. First, team performance. When you have to manage a team, your performance is not a function of what you do, but is a function of how your team performs. Your team needs to perform at its optimal, and that will count as your performance. For you to be successful, your team needs to be successful. Even if you meet targets as an individual member of the team, if your team does not produce the results that they are supposed to produce, you will be held accountable. And that is your failure as a manager. Let's take example of a football team. Let's say the captain is playing really well, but if all the other players are missing passes and missing chances, the team will not win. And at the end of the day, the manager has to be accountable for that and has to pay a price. He's supposed to be the one who answers tough questions from the team's management, media, expectations of the whole nation. Now, the skill set that you require as a manager is measuring your team's performance and making sure that you enhance your team's performance wherever it is weak. Knowing how to measure performance, dealing with low performers, bringing them up the curve, keeping the high performers motivated to keep performing high is an essential skill as a manager. If you don't have that skill set, if you cannot do that, your team will not perform at an optimum level, and that will lead to failure as a manager. The third challenge that managers face is coaching people to get their performance up. Sometimes it is not enough to give people feedback and then get out of the way so that they can go alter behavior, get results. Sometimes some of your team members may just not know how to do things. They don't have the capability to do it. In which case, as a manager, it's your responsibility to coach them to learn those capabilities. Coaching is a very specific skill set. Most people do coaching incorrectly. They do not give the input required and expect miracles out of their team members. Sometimes it is just not possible. As a manager, you may have to coach your people to get their performance to the next level. Coach them to become as great an individual contributor as you've been in the past. This is where your experience comes into play. But along with the experience also comes into play the skill set of coaching your people using the right methodologies, the right framework, and the right amount of input. Learning coaching can actually take your team's performance to the next level. Let's talk about a challenge which is close to my heart, delegation. Have you ever found yourself dealing with issues that your team members should be dealing with? Imagine a situation. You're sitting at your desk, you're busy doing some time critical work, it needs to be submitted on a deadline. You hear a knock, you look up, one of your team member comes in and says, "Hey boss, would you have a few minutes to look at my presentation and give me some inputs?" You feel important, you feel happy that your team member is asking for your input, and you keep your work aside and spend the next 20 minutes giving your valuable inputs on your team member's presentation. Happen to you? Similar situations? Think about it. This is a job that your team member should be doing. And now you've spent 20 minutes of your critical time doing what your team member should be doing. 5 minutes later, as you repick your work, another team member walks in and says, I've had enough of dealing with the other department. They just don't respond. Can I request you to please talk to their manager and get a response from them? You're busy and you say, okay, I will talk to them and get back to you. Give me some time. The team member goes away. 30 minutes later, he knocks and says, have you had a chance to speak to the manager of the other department? Notice it is his job, he's stuck with it, and now he is questioning you about whether you've been able to get results in that or not. Suddenly it's become your problem. If you have 7 team members and if everyone came with one problem of theirs that you need to solve, think about how many problems would you be solving of theirs. In fact, in one survey, it was found that managers spend 65% of their time doing tasks that their team members should be doing. Why do they do it? One, because they've been an exceptional individual contributor, and when they get a task which is a low level task, they feel it's right up their alley. They're great at doing it, and they should rather be doing it. It gets you in your comfort zone. B, it makes you feel important. C, you obviously want to help your team member. And the last and the least one, sometimes managers don't trust their team members to do the work as accurately as they would be doing it, and hence they would rather do the work themselves. But friends, just imagine 65% of your time doing tasks that your team member should be doing, which means that much less time to do your job. That's the challenge. Most managers don't know how to delegate effectively. If they were delegating effectively, a lot of their team members' performance would come up. They would be having a lot of free time to do the work they would be doing. Effective delegation is a skill set that every manager should learn to get more free time to do the work that they are supposed to be doing. Let's talk about the next skill set, resolving conflicts between your team members. Often you'll find yourself stuck in a conflict between two team members and you're right in the middle of it. These conflicts start small and start slow, but they can easily escalate into a full blown war with each of your team members either siding one party or the other. Now, if as a manager you don't get onto these conflicts quickly, face them head on, and resolve these conflicts quickly, they can actually convert a well oiled unit into a dysfunctional team. Learn conflict resolution steps and strategies will help you keep your team well oiled, resolve conflicts quickly, and take relationships to the next level. Now, there are many more skills that you need to learn as a manager: thinking strategically, solving problems, making decisions, knowing what creates a high performing team are some of the skill sets that you need as a manager to take your team's performance out of the park. It make your team's performance really great. You will notice that these skills are very different from what you require as an individual contributor to succeed. Skills like these make a manager extremely different from what an individual contributor is. Here's wishing you all the best for a thunderous success as a manager. Signing off. This is Sanjay Vadva from Phenom Services Private Limited. If you like this video, please hit the like button below, share this video, and subscribe to the list for many more videos to come. Once again, this is Sanjay Vadva from Phenom Services Private Limited, enhancing your capability.